Oh, oh, ding ding. This hangout is on air and live. There you go, that's what I was waiting for. Hello everyone. Welcome to another Q&A session. Oh god, all my notifications have just started going crazy. Um, I only do one of these around once a year. That's not really a thing I've decided. It's just turned out that way. I always plan to do more, and it's always a case of I need to. Ding ding. This hangout is on it. Okay, let me go back and mute that. Um, you'll have to excuse it. Google Hangouts is very difficult to control and just get a hang of everything. What they've done is actually, luckily, they've updated it. So now they've given me the link, so I can see all the comments, I can see all the questions that you guys are going to ask me. So I've paused that one on the page. Someone says, Tevya says, hello Sam. Hello. This is always fun when people ask questions. So yes, anyway. So I did quite literally just decide I was going to do this like 5 minutes ago. This isn't going to be the only one I do this year. Hopefully I'll be doing a lot more. It's just look, I've got nothing to do tonight. I was bored. Why not, you know? A lot of people have been sending me questions and asking me things that I could really cover in one of these videos, so that's basically the reason I'm doing it. And it's great to reach out and have a chat with you guys, because you're all very active. You guys are great. You're always trying to talk to me. You're always asking me questions on Facebook or Twitter and on the YouTube page. So this gives us a chance to actually speak in real time. So I'm just gonna put my phone on vibrate so it doesn't go nuts. Fine. I'll put that. Do I put it on vibrate and put it on the table? Because you guys will probably hear that. I'll put it in my pocket. Right, so, yeah, basically, ask questions. I'll be refreshing the page again and again just to see what you guys have written. Currently, at the moment, we have no questions. This is usually the case. It usually takes about 5-10 minutes for people to start asking stuff. Aiden Cross says hi. How you doing, Aiden? But yeah, so what have you guys? Oh, blimey, we've got a bunch of questions here. Right, okay. Here we go. Orange Dot says, "Hey Sam, just wondering what your thoughts are on The Godfather. Here's where I lose all my credibility. I've never seen The Godfather. Sorry. Everyone has asked me, how can you be a film critic if you haven't seen The Godfather? Or Lord of the Rings I get a lot as well. I can't have seen every single movie on the planet, but I've heard it's very good. I do need to check it out. Aiden Cross asks, what do you think of Terminator Genesis so far? I would say I'm a casual Terminator fan. Also, let me know if I'm shouting at all, because I can never tell with the mic on this laptop. Terminator Genesis. I mean, my views on the whole franchise is pretty... I'm pretty neutral on the whole thing. I love the first two. I still think... I mean, I know why number 3 is considered bad. I still enjoy it. It's a harmless action flick. The fourth one I actually think gets a lot of undeserved bashing. They made a genuine attempt to do something new, and there's a lot of great effects in it. I think the action is top notch, and yeah, it was competently made, I would have said, in the same way that I think Tron Legacy was competently made. It's ambitious, and I think part of the problem with the fourth one is Christian Bale's acting. He's just shit in that movie. So Terminator Genesis, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, with any franchise that has either had a string of great movies, or a string of bad movies, usually I just say leave it be. If it ain't broke, whatever. But whether we like it or not, it's a franchise. It gets recognized, branding. So they're going to make more whether we like it or not. It's nice to see that Arnold's going to return. I'm not quite sure how they're going to do his aging thing. I've read a bunch of articles. I'm not sure if anything's actually been confirmed about him playing the guy that they based the Terminator design on, and not actually the T-800. So I'm not too sure what they're doing there. But it's nice just when Arnold's attached to anything, because he's terrific. Not as an actor, he's just terrific because everyone loves Arnold. It's a shame James Cameron isn't on it, because he was the guy that breathed life into the franchise in the first place. But I hope it's good. The actress who's playing Sarah Connor, she's in Game of Thrones. I've seen bits of that. She looks like a good actress. So yeah, that could be cool. Are you going to review Star Wars Episode 3? Yes. This is probably the most asked question I've ever received in my fucking life. It's a case of, I reviewed Episode 1 because it just came out one night. I was trying to write a review for something else, and I had been trying to write a review of The Phantom Menace for ages. And it's because I genuinely felt that I had new information to provide, or new opinions to put out there, because people hating on The Phantom Menace isn't that huge a thing, and it's not that different. And I felt that I had a different enough viewpoint with the prequels in the first place and The Phantom Menace, that I felt I could pull something off there, and out of that just grew this script that I just wrote one night, out of just plotting everything from my head onto a Word document. So that's how that happened. And then Attack of the Clones, everyone was requesting for that, so I figured, okay, I'll do Attack of the Clones. And by that point, I'd pretty much figured I'd do just the prequel trilogy at that point. Attack of the Clones was very difficult. I was writing that for fucking ages. That was a point where I just could not make any videos. Sometimes you work so hard at it, at either your job or whatever you're doing, on YouTube, that eventually you just reach a stopping point, and that's usually a sign that you have to walk away from it. So I was in that funk for about a month, and then I came back to it, and I finally put out that flippin' review. I think the review turned out well. It's tough to review the prequels without accidentally repeating something that Red Letter Media has already made, and that's kind of a curse, because Attack of the Clones really is a crap movie, and I hate, believe it or not, I hate being negative, and I know that's just I've been very negative in a lot of my videos. That's just the way they've panned out. I've just found it's a little more interesting to review bad movies sometimes. Hopefully I've rectified that a little bit with by reviewing new movies that are coming out, and changing the range a little bit. But the Revenge of the Sith review will come eventually. My computer is going completely wild. Yeah, it is coming. I've written about, I would have said, 3-4 pages worth. It's usually a case of I've got that, and then I just reach a stopping point. It's very difficult to review. There's so much crap to talk about in that movie in particular. And I think a lot of people want to hear me say like it's really good. It's not. It is the best of the prequels. It does excel at a lot of things and horribly fail at other things. That is a review that will get done eventually. I don't know when. It's just when I can finish the script. But it will get done. Please stop asking. Thank you. Let's see, what else have you guys sent in? Right. Okay. Oh, blimey, so many questions. Hang on. I don't know when. I can finish the script. That always freaks me out when I start hearing my own voice. Right. So where was I? I'm just refreshing the page at the moment. How are you guys? How are you doing? What were you guys doing today? Were you out in the beautiful sun? I was working. Do you think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will fail? Everyone will go see it because it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's got turtles jumping around. It'll be big on action. It's Michael Bay. A lot of people are going to go see it. It will make money. The script will probably be shite. Megan Fox looks just terrible. Just hearing her read the lines in the trailer, I still can't get it. Why Megan? It's just Michael Bay treating us like little kids that need to see attractive models in these kind of roles, and it's just fucking stupid and pandering, and I find it slightly insulting, but whatever. And yeah, I mean the Turtles. I think you can only really do the Turtles in cartoon form. I think either because that's what they were in the originally. They were they were drawings in a comic book, and they were made to sort of parody that superhero thing. And then the cartoon took it, and that worked really well as well. I think either you go with a interesting practical effects kind of thing, like the '90s did, and that turned out really well. I mean, the movie. I'm not crazy about the live action '90s film, but the special effects really were something. Really, they put a lot of work into that, and I think if you're doing them in live action, then try and do something really interesting and creative with how to portray those cartoonish turtles in real life. And I think it's quite good that we had genuine guys in suits, doing those stunts. I mean, not all the time, but they were walking around. They were real people. They were in front of a camera. And now, of course, it's the 21st century, and that kind of stuff would cost money. So they're just going to be CGI. I knew they'd be CGI, whether we liked it or not. But I mean, we're in 2014, and they look like they were rendered in 2008. They look as fake as I've said this in a video, but they look as fake as the ones in that computer animated movie in like 2007. So the movie I can imagine the movie will be crap, but it'll make money, so it'll get a sequel, and our childhoods will continue to get raped. Tevya asks, how is your day going, man? And question, what is your opinion on Sony trying to be like Marvel Studios? Because in my opinion, I'm sick and tired of Sony destroying Spider-Man in movies. So am I. It's tough because, I went back and I watched The Amazing Spider-Man 1, and you know what? I think I went a bit hard on it the first time round, and I think I'm going to make a video saying that. But the second one really was a piece of crap. I don't need to say that again. That was insultingly bad, and it's not a bad thing that Sony's trying to build a big cinematic universe. That's not a bad thing. Fox is trying to do that. Fox has succeeded in doing that. Days of Future Past and Amazing Spider-Man 2 both went out to achieve the same thing, and X-Men was good because they were actually focused on trying to tell a story, develop characters, and do something interesting there. Sony and Spider-Man, on the other hand, all they want to do is just say, we're going to make more, we're going to make more. And no one's going to want to see more if you don't give us anything. If all you give us is one big advertisement for the next movie, then we're just going to get bored. There's nothing to stick around for. Again, do tell me if I'm shouting, because I'm raising my voice. It's probably because I'm talking about The Amazing Spider-Man. Let's see. Hedja Wolf 0602 says, I love your reviews. Thank you, man. I may not agree with all your reviews, but you're very articulate and give very good reasons with your opinions. Thank you. So, as of questions, are you looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy? I can't fucking wait for Guardians of the Galaxy. That looks amazing. Never read a Guardians comic in my life, but it looks like a really fun movie. It looks like it could be the Star Wars of this year. I like Chris Pratt as an actor. I liked him before this, and he's really got in shape for this. So good on him. The only thing I'm slightly worried about is Gamora. I'm seeing them like lean in for a kiss in the trailer, and I just hope she doesn't turn out like Uhura in the new Star Trek movies, because all she does is just exist to be a love interest, and Gamora looks badass, and we don't want her to just be degraded into one of those kind of love interest characters. But she does have an interesting connection to another character who, if you don't know, I won't spoil. So there's interesting stuff to be found with her there. But Groot looks amazing. He actually looks a bit like Vin Diesel as well, which is really cool. The set designs look great. It looks like just a really, really fun, stylish sci-fi space opera. It's great to know that the soundtrack is going to have a lot of 80s tracks on it. Apparently it's to do with the fact that Peter Quill was abducted when he was like 8 in the 80s, and he had his Walkman with him. So he's just listening to 80s tunes, which is just a terrific idea for that kind of soundtrack in a movie about aliens and traveling in space. And it just looks like it's going to be an absolute blast, and I can't wait for it. I really hope that's good. Again, it's not one of those movies that's promising to be, all about all these emotions and this, that, and the other. It just looks to be really fun, and I can't wait. Orange Exorcists asks, have you ever watched Digimon, Sam? I think I did, like once or twice when I was younger. Never watched it after that. What was it, like a spin-off of Pokemon? Or what? I mean, Digimon. I know Pokemon stands for Pocket Monsters. Does Digimon stand for anything? Forgive my lack of, if that does stand for anything, I do apologize. But is that a spin-off of Pokemon? Is that connected to it? Because I never really got it. I've seen Nostalgia Critic's review of the movie, and it just looked like, what the fuck? That's probably not the answer you were expecting. Sorry. Yeah, Digimon. Not really my thing, I'm afraid. Harry the Human Substitute Aaron Carr, great name, says, how do you get a question to this guy? Is it on another website? No, you just comment on the video. I just saw that. Thought you might need a bit of help. So there you go. Have you seen Transformers: Age of Extinction? It's not out in the UK yet. It doesn't come out till a couple days' time, but I will be watching it, and hopefully out of that will grow some kind of... It'll either be a review or it'll definitely be a rant. A rant, even. Pronouncing that wrong. That's the problem with doing all this stuff online. You end up losing... you end up forgetting how to pronunciate all these words that you're meant to do. I'm just talking crap now. It's because I'm trying to read everything at once. Right. But yeah, I will be going to see it. I haven't seen the sequels. From all the research I've done, apparently they're the exact same movie, so I'm not worried about that. Oh, this is a great question, and I don't have an answer for it. Dylan Corcoran asks, if you could make a film, what would it be about, and who would you like to be in that film? That's such a good question. I have no idea, mate. Thank you for asking. Because I'm going to be at the moment I'm not a film student because I'm on a gap year and I'm just working. But I am before and after this, I will be studying film. And I really should have an answer for that. I don't know. I would love to make movies. Um, that's not exactly an end goal. I really love film criticism. I love that idea that, well, I don't love the idea. I just love doing it. I've really gotten into it over the past couple years, and that would be a nice end game. Quite literally, the videos that I make are stuff that I enjoy it so much that I already feel like I'm doing what I want to be doing in the future now, except I'm just not getting paid for it. Um, but in terms of what I'd make a movie about, I don't know, but I'll think on it, and hopefully by the time I start studying film production at uni, I'll have that answer. But thank you for asking that question. Ruben asks, what's your most anticipated movie of 2015? I mean, there's so many movies coming out in 2015. Um, uh, I don't really know. I try not to get too excited about movies nowadays, but in terms of anticipation, um, uh, I mean, I don't think they should bother making it, but I'll still go and see Star Wars, and I'll still likely get ecstatic when it's the actual day and I won't be able to breathe or something. But it's probably Star Wars. Um, Joseph Garvey asks, "Hi Sam, love your reviews. Thank you. By the way, never seen Godfather either. Anyway, what are your thoughts on The Hobbit?" I haven't seen that either. I'm sorry. Yeah. These are movies that I just haven't got around to watching. The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings just doesn't look like my kind of thing, and I don't really want to go into it feeling that way because then I feel like I just won't enjoy it. So maybe I'll stumble upon it at some point. It just doesn't look like my kind of thing, but I do like the cast. I've heard the second Hobbit's really good, so maybe I'll watch the Hobbit trilogy or maybe I'll watch the Hobbit films sooner than the Lord of the Rings films because I think that looks a bit more interesting. But I've never read the books. I know nothing of the series, so please do not hate on me for not knowing anything about this stuff. What's your favorite movie of all time? No idea. I usually my go-to is Empire Strikes Back. Truthfully, I don't like to give a favorite movie of all time because movies are so subjective, and uh, it your favorite of all time is always so personal. But um, amongst my top movies, in no particular order, would be probably be Big with Tom Hanks. I adore that movie. It's got a great message about not losing your childhood as you grow up. Um, it's funny. It's a terrific movie, and it's so heartfelt as well. There's such genuine um, emotion in that movie. I absolutely love it. I just recently bought it on Blu-ray. I'll try not to do a review of every single one of these movies. So yeah, you've got Big, Empire Strikes Back, A New Hope / Star Wars, whatever. Um, The Truman Show, that's a great film. Catch Me If You Can. City of God, which is a terrific movie. Really well directed. That's just a ride. That movie. Very dark. But it's great. You guys should watch that one. Batman Begins, Spider-Man 2. I don't know if you can see, but I've got a poster up there. What else? Uh, I'm sure I've missed a bunch of movies, but those are some of mine at the top there. Oh, and Clerks. Clerks is a great movie. Da, 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 da. Ruben asks, "What's your favorite TV show right now?" Truth be told, I only really watch one TV show, and that's Arrow. I'm just not really that huge on TV. I did recently watch the entire series of Breaking Bad, which was just unbelievably amazing. But I mean, you guys don't need to hear me say that. I'm sure all your friends have told you to watch it, and I was one of those naysayers getting pissed off about that. So yeah, it's a great show, and I really enjoyed it. But I just watched that on Netflix, so I'm not currently continuing to watch it because it's finished. So Arrow, I'm always tuning in for, which is usually really good. Occasionally it's bad. What do you expect? It's on CW, but you know, it's actually it's actually really good. I think, and Stephen Amell, who could not like that guy? If you guys aren't following Stephen Amell on Facebook or YouTube, do so, because he's so genuine, and he posts such interesting stuff, really funny stuff. Posts all his workout, videos, and the guy is really dedicated to what he does in that show. So good on him. So yeah, follow Stephen Amell. Trying to pick the best comments. Harry Potter ? From oh god, I'm not going to pronounce this right. Claudio. Great name. Harry Potter. Again, not really my kind of thing. It was hard to not grow up watching the Harry Potter films, because, you know, I would have been 6 when the first one came out. I remember going to the cinema to see it, and as we got older, the actors in the film got older. So it was difficult not to be part of Harry Potter. It was just part of the generation as we grew up. I'm not quite a fan of the acting. I think it definitely got better over time. I like The Prisoner of Azkaban. I think that's a genuinely good movie, but again, it's got a bit of weird acting. They're a bit hit and miss with me. And yeah, I predicted they were going to suck some kind of pointless spin-off or prequel or whatever they're doing now ages ago, because, you know, Harry Potter, massive name, they're not going to let that drop. So whatever. Maybe I'll go see the new movies. It's really, in terms of going to see new movies, it's usually just I'll go and see it and review it now. It's not normally I won't go see it. But if I weren't going to possibly review it, I would not go see the Harry Potter spin-off. Joe Tufano, who's been following me for ages, how you doing, man? Says, hey Sam, if I remember correctly, you said Chris Evans finally sold you on playing Captain America in The Winter Soldier. Personally, I always thought he was a great choice for the role. Did you not like him at first in First Avenger? No, I really liked Chris Evans. I think he did a really good job. I just think, in terms of the character, in the First Avenger, he was taking orders a lot, and it kind of felt like it didn't always feel like he was in control of the plot. He wasn't in control of his own movie, and you don't normally want your movie to feel that way. I still think he's very good, and then in the Avengers, he was still good. I hated his costume, but he kind of just felt like a buzzkill, and that was kind of all they gave him to do. And then he fought really well. So, but the Winter Soldier made him both, relevant for today. It made him a badass as well. You know, taking off the helmet and fighting that guy. Chris Evans just looked so self-assured this time round. He just felt confident, and he had that patriotic, I know what I'm doing, don't fuck with me kind of attitude, which I just really loved. So I do like him. I just thought he was better in Winter Soldier. Diano Reviews asks, hi Sam, so ... How are you? I'm good. I'm quite bored. Well, I'm not bored now. I was bored. Just did not too long. It was a 5-hour shift at work. It's nice to be home. Yeah, I'm good. What about you? Aiden Cross asks, will you ever do another podcast with Hello Greedo? We haven't really set anything in stone yet, but almost, yeah, definitely. I mean, I know I definitely want to do another one with him at some point. I'm usually waiting for the biggest Star Wars news for us to do another podcast on, or it doesn't even have to be Star Wars Episode 7 news. It could be Star Wars The Clone Wars or whatever. But don't start asking me about Clone Wars, please. Um, but um, but yeah, we probably will do another podcast together. I think we're at the moment we're talking about doing another kind of collaboration. I think I might be in one of his future videos possibly, but we're still talking it out, and I don't know if you wanted that to be a surprise, but I just ruined it. Whoops. What are your thoughts on the new Superman costume for Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice? Also, what do you think of the Batfleck suit and the title? I hate the title. Why does Batman gets top billing over Superman in his own sequel? Um, is Superman's costume new? It looks the same to me. Dawn of Justice? Batman v Superman? V? It's the worst possible title I've ever seen in my life. No one got confused with the Avengers. They didn't have to call that Iron Man versus Thor versus Hulk versus Captain America. Shit title. The Batfleck suit looks pretty cool. I'm excited to see him with his head up, because I can't for the life of me tell that that's actually Affleck in the suit. But I've seen pictures of him on the street at the moment, and he really does fill up the entire suit, so good on him. Let's see. Do you think we're getting too many superhero movies? Yeah, I probably would have said so. Look, I think we're getting too many movies. Actually, I think we're getting not movies. Let me take that back. I think we're getting too many sequels, remakes, reboots, anything to do with, revitalizing a franchise that is better just left alone. Literally every single movie is getting a sequel now, and all I'm thinking is, Dredd, where are you? How does what was it? Jingle All the Way is getting a sequel? Who was asking for a sequel to Jingle All the Way? It's baffling decisions. The man. Oh, that was asked by none. Fucking hell, I can't even pronounce that. Okay, I'm gonna skip the name, but thank you. The Man of Blue says, "Hi Sam, what's your opinion on Pulp Fiction? Also, congrats on reaching 7,500 subs. Thank you very much. I love Pulp Fiction. That's one I don't give that would probably reach my favorite movies as well. I only watched that for the first time last year, and I thought it was good. I watched it again about a month ago on the big screen in a cinema, and I fucking adored it. Excuse me. I don't like to give this to many movies a lot, but I think it's a fucking masterpiece. Terrific screenplay. It's funny. There are great themes, subtle themes that you can either hook on to if you choose to, or just sit down and watch people in funny scenarios reacting in particular ways. Samuel L. Jackson is incredibly. Oh, God, it's when he says, "Tell the bitch to chill." It gets me. Yeah, terrific movie. Coolio Vids 101 says, "Wow, didn't know this was going to be a thing." Yeah, I just decided out of the blue I was going to do it. If there's anyone who's joined after I've done the intro, don't worry. I'm going to sneeze. God, the build up to that. Yeah, don't worry. If you've missed out on this and you're watching this after it's already been done and recorded, I know in the past I've only done like one a year. That hasn't been intentional. It's just been the way things have panned out. I will be doing another one of these, and usually I like to give notice, and I probably will next time. But yeah, I just felt like doing this tonight, so I do apologise to anyone that's been caught off guard. But I will be doing another one of these soon, so don't get too afraid just yet. Da-da-da-da. Are there any films that you think are good that everyone else thinks are bad, and vice versa? Asked by Alexander Lowery. Um, this guy's been following me as well for a while. Thank you. Um, Are there any films that I think are good that everyone else thinks are bad? Um, I really like Batman Forever. I know it's got flaws, but I think it's really good. For the kind of movie it's trying to be, I think it's the best of the quadrilogy. Um, Batman '89, stylistically fantastic, technically amazing, crummy script. Um, Great actors. I don't like Jack Nicholson as the Joker. I just don't think he works. It's the voice, personally, for me. I think the voice is where the Joker gets his main oomph from, and there he just talks like Jack Nicholson, and it completely just flatlined the character for me. Um, but yeah, so I like Batman Forever. What else do I like? I've said it before, but I like Terminator Salvation. Um, Spider-Man 3, I've said on numerous occasions, and I gave it a pretty negative review, but you know what? It's a very entertaining movie, and that's got genuine greatness throughout, no matter how cluttered and just um, contradictory the script and themes and characters were in that movie. It was still a very fun ride. The effects were still very good, and you know what? The emo Peter kind of works because he's never been cool in his life and he doesn't know any better. So yeah. Um, So those are just a few movies. Let's have a look. Just updating the list. Can you guys hear this? Can you guys hear this fan? It's very loud on my end. I do apologize if you guys can hear it. My voice has been breaking for the past 6 months, and I have no idea why. I think I'm going through a second stage of puberty. Da-da-da-da. Just refreshing the whole thing. Well, you guys are asking a lot of questions. Thank you very much for asking so many questions. Oh God. First, actually, wait, hang on. What do you think of the teaser for the new series of Doctor Who? We didn't see much. I haven't told a lot of people this, but I've just gone off Doctor Who. I've given up on it. I don't do that. I've never really done this on a lot of stuff, but I found myself getting so annoyed and so fed up and disappointed at the writing of that show, and the fan base just ticked me off that one day I just unliked all the pages and just stopped watching Doctor Who, and I feel so much better for it because you know what, I think Doctor Who's actually pretty shit. I do apologise to anyone that really likes it. I think for the cultural stuff, very good, and it is impressive that it's been going on for 50 years. But the only time it was really, I mean, it's completely overrated. The only time it was really, it was the quality that people give it credit for nowadays is during the Christopher Eccleston, Russell T Davies era, because that had an ongoing story. The episodes were full of great messages, emotion, scary stuff, genuinely scary stuff. And the best thing about Doctor Who are always the actors playing the Doctor. The writing is always up and down. The monsters are always up and down. They always overuse successful monsters and then make you hate them, which really bugs the crap out of me. But the actor's always the best thing about it. Matt Smith was terrific, but he suffered from bad writing, basically, and that's a huge shame. But yeah, so I know that's not really the answer you were expecting. I'll watch the first episode of the new series of Doctor Who just to see how Peter Capaldi shapes up, but after then I'm probably not going to bother with the rest of the series. Thank you for asking that, Matthew. I'm not sorry. I'm being very lazy with pronouncing people's names at the moment. Orange Dot asks, first impressions on Gotham. It looks so dull and boring and just a Smallville Batman. I don't want to watch 10 seasons of people that I like not being the characters that I like yet. That's just, I don't want to. Why would I watch a show building towards him becoming Batman, or Gordon becoming Commissioner, when I could just watch a Batman movie, when I could just slip that into my Blu-ray and go watch The Dark Knight or something? I just think it's pointless. It looks like a show that's going to ride the whole excitement on name power. It's awkward seeing Catwoman and Poison Ivy in there, considering they're meant to be, like the epitome of sex symbols, and there's something creepy and just uncomfortable about them being little girls. It's the same as seeing Mystique, movie Mystique in the X-Men movies as like a 5-year-old. It's just, ugh, no. Let's see. Chris Allman asks, what made you want to become a movie reviewer? Good question, thank you, Chris. It really sort of came out of, I had been watching a lot of movie reviews, mainly superhero stuff. I got really into Geekvolution's Superhero Rewind, and after that I started watching more movie reviews and more movie reviews, and it was a time in my life where I was incredibly bored. I didn't have a lot of friends. I'd kind of shut people out. I was in college, and I don't know why. I have no idea. But I mean, the next year I made friends, and it was all fine. So it was out of the fact that I just had nothing to do and I was bored shitless. So one day I just what was my first video? It was a Doctor Who video, which has now been taken down due to copyright crap. Quite a few videos have been taken down due to copyright stuff. I do apologize to anyone who, if there's a video that was once up that you wanted to watch and you haven't found and you're wondering why I've deleted it, it's because of copyright stuff. So sorry about that. Yeah, it was a Doctor Who video. I just felt like making it because it was David Tennant's regeneration really bugged me, and it was the first time I genuinely felt, okay, I've got to get all this stuff down and I've just got to put it somewhere. Bloody hell, the fan's going nuts on this laptop. And out of that, I watched more movies. I think it started with me being into the kind of superhero stuff, and then, but I mean, people consider me a comic book fan. I'm really not a comic book fan. I'm a movie fan. I just really like superheroes. I do have comic books. I've got a whole shelf of comic books, but it's one shelf. I don't actively read comics. I have read some, and I do appreciate the medium, and there are terrific stories that have been told through comics, but sometimes they're overrated. Source material, blah blah blah. You know what? If it works in the movie, then it works in the movie. That's why I really like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies, and that's why I really like the X-Men movies for the most part, up until X-Men 3. But yeah, I just found myself becoming more and more interested in film overall, and yeah. So I mean, my favorite films, as you probably can tell from my list, is not simply a bunch of superhero movies. It's science fiction. It's thought-provoking movies. It's low budget artistic movies. So it's usually something that you take away something different with you. But I mean, it's just out of, I've been watching movies all my life, and I just loved making these videos, and I enjoy talking about the stuff I'm interested in and passionate about. And also, you guys with your response and the interactions, you've made this just so enjoyable, and I do thank the lot of you for that, because if it weren't for you guys, I probably would have stopped by now. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, the videos have changed and developed over time. It's hard to find. There's always something that changes. It's going to be the intro gets changed next, or the font gets changed next. There's always something in my videos that lacks consistency, and it's really just because I'm constantly trying new things. I'm trying to better the videos, and And yeah, so I feel like right now I've got them at a place where I just feel this is exactly the kind of these are exactly the kind of videos I want to be making, which is just the best feeling. And I should really get some more out soon. Whew. Uh, just responding to my girlfriend. Right, more questions, 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 questions. I will skip some questions because either people have repeated the same question or it's about material that I'm not familiar with or something like that. So yeah. Uh, what's the best movie you've seen this year? Asks the Memo Man. Um, I don't know. Did you guys see? Crap, what was it called? The Double. That was really good. I'm not sure if it was the best movie of this year. Um, again, I loved Captain America. I loved X-Men. These are quite sort of mainstream movies. Frank was terrific. I'd completely forgotten about Frank. That was a really good movie. Um, yeah, I don't know what the best one is. The Lego Movie was also awesome. Um, Angel Baraza asks, "Will you ever not be cool?" Oh, thank you. See, that's the kind of stuff that, yeah, yeah, I will not be cool because I just went, no, thank you. Spidey fan asks, "Who's your favorite film director?" I know I should have one because they ask you that. They ask you that in like interviews for film school. I don't really have one. I love. I actually really like Kevin Smith. I don't know why. Like I don't like all his films, but Clerks is actually really well directed. The dialogue's very well done. I mean, part of that is writing as well. Um, who else do I like? These are very mainstream choices. I like Martin Scorsese, Spielberg. What a guy. Yeah, those are just some of them. Oh, I've lost my place in the questions. Uh, oh God. Um, ZRed99 or ZRed99 if you're American asks, "What film that you were excited for left you underwhelmed or even disgusted?" Um, I mean, this goes without saying, Man of Steel, but I'm not gonna. If you want to hear why I don't like Man of Steel, go watch any one of the 50,000 videos I've done on it. Also, in your Days of Future Past review, you said that leaving Last Stand left you depressed. Does that mean you disliked the film, or there were depressing things in the film? I haven't seen it in a long time, so I can't remember much of it. A little of both. It was a bad movie, but it was also the fact that they spoilers killed off. Nope, I thought I heard something. They killed off um, Professor X, Cyclops, Jean Grey. I mean, she was dead in the second one, but they killed her off again, and it ended things on such a downer. But now that works. Go watch my Days of Future Past review if you don't know why I think that now works. But I remember just the end of that trilogy was so fucking awkwardly depressing. It felt like all the characters either didn't learn something or they were dead. That's not a good feeling. Also, Magneto as a character, his philosophy was horribly um, just that all went out the window, and that's a shame because he was such a compelling villain. Fortunately, they've regained that in First Class and Days of Future Past, but yeah, The Last Stand was not a very good movie. Thank you for the question. Dylan Runia asks, "What do you like better, DC or Marvel?" I mean, in terms of movies, Marvel know what they're doing. They take risks. They're creative. They have balls. They're they're more filmmakers. And DC slash Warner Brothers, they're just constantly trying to keep up, with the business end, and it just seems like a constant desperate attempt. Oh, we're gonna make it a Justice League movie, and in terms of the comics, from what I've read, I like both. I don't really like to put one or the other. I do. I find the DC characters a little more. The child in me, I think, um, goes more towards the DC characters. I'm not sure why. I find them a little more um, sort of mystical, magical, I guess. But Marvel. You've got the more. Marvel were the people that said superheroes need to be human beings and need to be three-dimensional, and that's a huge thing, and that's how things have gone. But if you look at all the similarities, Marvel have just constantly been ripping off DC from day one in terms of characters and the type of characters that they have. But I think Marvel have done great things with the material, so boo-hoo. Yeah, I like them both. They have their flaws, but in terms of movies, Marvel all the way. That doesn't mean I don't want DC to succeed, but it does mean they've disappointed me quite a bit, and I just hope Warner Brothers finally get it together. Uh, I hope no one heard that. I farted. Well, if you didn't hear it, I told it to you all now. You may have noticed I'm completely different from how I sound in my videos. It's because I script them, and I guess I'm much more to the point in my videos. I try and be funny and put a lot of my personality into them as well, but I'm very goofy in real life. So I'm sorry if it's a bit jarring. Hub Hikari, says, "Hey Sam, Sony seems to be in a pickle with their financial state when Marvel gets Spidey's license back, if that ever happens. Would you prefer to do The Amazing Spider-Man 3 or start over? Personally, I'd want The Amazing Spider-Man 3, although I do think 2 jumped the shark too early with, well, I mean, in terms of Marvel getting Spider-Man's film rights, I could not give a shit less about him in the Avengers. I don't think that would work. I mean, it has worked in the past. If they do want to put him in the Avengers, it's not going to be Andrew Garfield, because that would just be jarring. He doesn't belong in there. I would have said start over, but not as in start over and do an origin again. Just go through go with a different interpretation, but keep it the way Spider-Man should be, lighthearted. I just think Marvel, with the fact that they do take risks and they are interested in telling stories, as well as doing all that business crap, that they have a much better chance of actually handling Spider-Man well and telling an interesting story with that material that they'd have available. So yeah, I mean, what was the question? Yeah, if they do, I mean, they're not going to get the film rights before The Amazing Spider-Man 3. That's never going to happen. Is The Amazing Spider-Man 3 the Sinister Six movie, or is the Sinister Six movie its own movie, and then we're going to get Amazing Spider-Man 3? What's happening there? That's a question that I don't expect anyone to answer, but that's just, I'm curious about that. Thank you for asking that question. Hedger Wolf 0602 asks, when did they announce a Jingle All the Way 2? Like 2 months ago, dude. Where have you been? Q Dizzle Cali says, bring back Jake Lloyd for Jingle All the Way sequel. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Have you seen him now? he seems like a lovely guy, but he did not get better with age. That's really that's a really harsh comment. Um, don't take that away with you. Um, Alien franchise, asked by Connor O'Brien, Brian. Love the first one, love the second one. I also kind of like the third one. The fourth one is weird and boring and not funny. It's one of those sequels that tries to be goofy and parody itself and just it's just weird. Um, what else is there? Is that did it go Prometheus after that, or was there another? No. Then was it Alien versus Predator? Well, Alien versus Predator sucked, both of them. Prometheus, technically, terrific. Me as a film fan, I've been waiting for a movie nowadays to go back to the kind of practical sets and effects traditions that great films were made out of back in the 70s and 80s. So I thought technically it was terrific, but the script sucked. It didn't know what it wanted to do. All the themes were just sort of thrown out there. They never did anything with it. The characters felt two-dimensional or just weird. There were confusing subplots. The black goo just that made no sense. I didn't really take anything away with the. I didn't think there was anything interesting in just saying that the origin of the xenomorph was just a bunch of random cross-species genetic stuff. I found it a weird movie. I remember walking out and being like, "Yeah, that was pretty cool." And then over time, I kept complaining more and more about it, and and I guess that's eventually I just realized, yeah, I don't think it's very good in terms of the script. Um, but yeah, but I love the first two. Terrific movies. I like that they're both different genres. I like how the first one is a sci-fi horror and the other is a sci-fi thriller. Um, tiny, well, not. I mean, maybe there's some small differences, but it gives it an opportunity to not be the exact same kind of movie, and in doing so, it actually the story continues and the franchise gets expanded. The third one does. That's a very bleak movie, even bleaker than The Last Stand or even Man of Steel, which I think is actually really bleak. Um, that's just your favorite characters die. Spoilers. Ripley dies at the end. And it's like a prison planet, and it's again great, technically very well done. I'm not sure about the effects in the third one. There's some awkward stop motion effects there, but it's very depressing. Mike Molina asked, Sam, do you watch video games? Do I play video games even? I used to be big into Nintendo, and then they stopped making Nintendo Wii games for no apparent reason. So yeah, I had an Xbox, the original Xbox, not even the 360. It was before then, and I enjoyed that. I guess I've just never been the kind of guy to buy the right games console. The only reason I would buy a games console nowadays is to play Grand Theft Auto 5, which just looks like the most fun game anyone would ever have played in their lives. I used to love those games, and my dad never let me buy them because they were. I mean, to be fair, I was like 10, but he didn't want me playing that kind of stuff. But I'm 19 now, so sod in. I do love my dad, in case he's watching this. Who's my favourite superhero? Spider-Man. There you go. A lot of people have asked questions that I answered previously, so when this is all done, do feel free to go back to the beginning and have another watch. What are your thoughts on the Fantastic Four reboot in 2015? No one's asking for a Fantastic Four reboot. Maybe you like Fantastic Four. If you do, great. I couldn't give a crap less about them. Spider-Man has, an interesting character, relatable stuff going on, teen angst. That when it works, it works. Interesting stuff going on there, and it's something for kids and awkward kids who are in awkward places in their lives to relate to, and X-Men is about prejudice and civil rights and all that kind of stuff. Fantastic Four is astronauts in space that get powers and are heroes occasionally and are astronauts occasionally. I haven't read any Fantastic Four material. I do apologize if I'm not talking about them correctly or if I'm just being incompetent because I haven't uh, done enough research on Fantastic Four. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, Fantastic Four, the first movie, that's stupid, but I still find that quite entertaining as well. So I guess you could say I like that, whereas other people don't. But I'm very aware it's a shit movie. The script is crap. Um, what do you think of allocated seating in Cineworld? Um, it's alright. It's either there or I go to Odeon. Do you play Call of Duty? No. But thank you for asking. Nikki Thompson asks, PS4 or Xbox? I don't know. Which one makes me your friend? Um, Michael Merce, 99, says, please don't tell me your voice breaking means that you'll lose your kick-ass accent. No, it's sticking around, I'm afraid. Someone put that on the what there you go, the Watch Mojo list of like top movie critics, and someone put plus he has an awesome British accent, which I loved. Of course, here to everyone else it sounds exactly the same as their own voice. Mazirim SO6, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. He's got Darth Vader as his DP. Hey Sam, what are your top 5 best and worst superhero movies? Top 5 in no particular order. I'm not sure if I can actually rank them. Spider-Man 2, Batman Begins, The Avengers, it's either X-Men 2 or Days of Future Past, and maybe Spider-Man 1. Yeah, so those are in no particular order my top 5. Worst superhero movies, they're going to be pretty standard, basic choices, or ones that you would have already have heard me say that I don't like. So, Catwoman, Ang Lee's Hulk. It's an admirable attempt, but it's so fucking boring. And I have no idea what goes on in that film. He also looks like Play-Doh. So Catwoman, Ang Lee's Hulk, Man of Steel, I'm sorry, I think it sucks. Maybe you like it, and that's fine. I've stopped complaining about it, and then a new Batman vs Superman story comes up, and I have to talk about it again. But yeah, that's a movie I was really excited for, and personally, I just thought it was both shallow and horrible and just depressing and whatever. Go watch one of my videos about it. And still, oh god, 5 bad superhero movies, or worse superhero movies. Maybe X-Men 3 or Iron Man. No, Iron Man 2 isn't that bad actually. Amazing Spider-Man wouldn't be on this list. The first one. That's really not that bad. I can only give you 3 because if I try and pick the other 2, we'll be here for too long. So those are, in no particular order, my top 3 least favourite superhero movies. Thank you for that question. Orange Dot asks, favourite child actor / actress? I can't stand child actors. If they can act, terrific. Often they can't, and they drag the whole movie down with them, or TV show, whatever. I'm not a fan of them. So I don't really have one. But I liked the guy. I still think the guy who played John Connor in T2 was terrific, and I would have expected him to have been. I would expect the guy to have been terrible if I watched that movie, say tomorrow. Um, but yeah, he was really good. I forget his name because he's never been in anything since then. Wasn't he in CSI at one point? How long has this been going on for? When did I start recording this? Was it 60 viewers? That's cool. Don't usually get 60 viewers. Oh god, I've completely lost my place. If you read the X-Men comics, you'd hate the movies. I watched the 90s animated series, and that's pretty faithful to the comics. I've read a bunch of X-Men comics as well. Not a whole lot, but I've read some of them. I think the movies, yes, they're very different, but I got to give credit where it's due. He changed stuff and felt confident with what he was doing. He still, by he I mean Singer, he is still calling back to what they were meant to be about. He's still addressing those themes, and I think that's what the essence of X-Men is about. And yes, it would be cool to get Rogue being all Southern Babe. I think they were planning that at one point, because if you notice in the first X-Men movie, towards the end, after Wolverine's given her his healing power, Jean Grey tells him she's developed some of his personality traits or something, which is like more aggressive and sarcastic. So I think that was like maybe a plan there. They never really followed up on it. The second one, she used her power for good, and then the third one, she forgot everything she learned. So yeah, I really think the movies are better than people give them credit for. A lot of, as I said earlier, source material can be overrated. I think sometimes people can be a bit selfish with what they expect a movie based on their material that they're familiar with to be like. I've got people saying the expanded universe of Star Wars is now pointless because they're not going to adapt it into a movie. When were they ever? Once upon a time there weren't even going to be new movies. Why is this material now rendered useless? If you enjoyed it and you loved it and it had an effect on you, then there's no reason it needs to be turned into a movie to satisfy you. If that's the case, then it couldn't have been that good. I just think that kind of mentality is just fucking stupid. I went off topic there, and I've also lost my place again. So many questions. Thank you all for asking so many questions. This is really quite flattering. Sam, this is asked, can you guys just get easy to read names? Shonen Jump Boy, okay, asks, Sam, in your opinion, what do movies mean to you? Art, expression, etc. Movies can mean a whole lot to me. Art, yes. Expression, yes. It can give a meaning. It can be an innocent, just fun time at the movies. I thought Edge of Tomorrow was. I loved it because it didn't try and be anything too deep or thoughtful, or didn't try and come up with some bullshit chosen one story arc, or come out with that bullshit as if it was about stuff. It was really just a fun movie which had a clever script, and it's okay to be like that. Like Pacific Rim, that's just giant monsters punching each other, but it works because it's a good script, and yeah. So I think movies can be a little bit of everything, but in terms of what they mean to me, yeah, a little bit of everything. I'm very close with movies. You may have guessed. Have you ever, Dylan Runia asks, have you ever gotten into any of the kaiju, brackets Godzilla, giant monster movie franchise films? I probably just went over this in my previous answer. I loved Pacific Rim, and I can't wait for the sequel to that. Godzilla, if you've seen my review, I was a bit in between on it. I am a bit warmer to it because of the honest filmmaking and passion at play there. I do hope the sequel's better, because if it's not, then it's not really going to go anywhere. They really do need to embrace that whole Godzilla fights another monster and don't ask questions kind of mentality. Calm down. The fan in my laptop goes absolutely nuts and is really loud. So if uh, if that's getting in the way, please tell me. I mean, I won't be able to do anything about it, but do tell me. Um, uh, I'm just going to say his surname. Montiero asks, Tangled or Frozen? Am I the only one who thinks Tangled is better than Frozen? I think Tangled is funnier than Frozen, and obviously in part down to the atmosphere, environment, setting, and color palette. Tangled is warmer than Frozen, no pun intended, but I do think it's funnier. Frozen has more compelling characters. I love that Anna and Elsa, while yes they're princesses, they're also human beings. They have flaws, and that's okay. That makes for a really interesting movie that allows for good character development. It's not just about the twist. If you haven't seen it, I'm about to spoil the hell out of it. It's not just that uh, Prince Hans is a bad guy, and I didn't see that coming. It's also about the fact that they're characters that grow and change in the movie, and they get development. And yeah, so the songs are nice, quite catchy. Um, I hated "Let It Go" once upon a time, but it's only really because everyone wouldn't stop singing it. Um, and yeah, so I like the both of them. I watched Tangled really recently, and Frozen is always playing at work, so I see it every day pretty much. Um, but yeah, Tangled is funnier. Frozen is. I would have said Frozen has a better story, but Tangled is very funny and very enjoyable. Um, so yeah, two very good movies from Disney. Um, best comments. Um, Michael Merck, 99, asks, when you're really hyped for a movie, do you look up spoilers? Never. Um, I don't understand people that do that. It ruins the movie for you. Just wait, dude. Wait for the story and twists and turns to affect you when you're sitting there in the cinema. That's how it's meant to be watched. It's you lose a lot when everything's spoiled to you online. That's why I hate all the coverage that is surrounding Star Wars Episode 7. Just let them make the movie and go and watch it when it's out. Because I mean, we know nowadays the whole twist of him being Luke's father would never have. That would have been in some fucking magazine or online, or some reporter would have leaked it. And yeah, it's like them doing Khan in Into Darkness. And to be fair, Into Darkness was crap. Well, I don't want to get into this one either. I'm repeating my views on a lot of movies. Into Darkness didn't benefit from rehashing Wrath of Khan's stuff, but it was also the worst kept secret in history. Everyone was, there were people saying it's Khan, and I was hoping to God that it wouldn't be Khan, and it was, and it wasn't surprising, and yeah, so that's what it's like nowadays. So just let people make the movie and then go watch it and get affected when you're actually there. It's just more enjoyable that way. It's almost you're ruining something for yourself. You have to be incredibly desperate to find out stuff about a movie to want to ruin it for yourself. Uh, Michael Merck, 99, again asks, what editing software do you use? Sony Vegas Pro. Very good. Yeah, I've also used Adobe Premiere and Final Cut Pro. I've had experience with both of them in both college and a production company that I worked with for a while in the summer. Both good. I prefer Sony Vegas. Or rather, I'm just used to it. Um, what is the worst film so far this year? I don't know if I should say here or I should save it for my end of year, like top 10 worst video. But Divergent. What a terrible movie. Fuck me. Just awful. I couldn't even do a review of it. I couldn't stomach it. It would have been one of the most negative videos I've done. Wow, what a pile of crap. I'm just sitting here talking about it. I just want to strangle it. It was so boring and so dull. And the dialogue was stupid. And I got really ticked off because all the reviews were like, oh, this is the first like Hunger Games / Twilight movie that worked. And this is really good. And what were you guys on? It was fucking awful. Shonen Jump Boy says, I found your channel a long time ago because I really loved your reviews and constructive criticism on Star Wars. Subscribed to you ever since. Thank you very much. Wasn't a question, but thank you. Da, 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 da. Have I seen classic Doctor Who? Yes, I have. Sometimes it's okay. A lot of the time it's fucking awful. But the actors playing the Doctor again are very good. I've already gone over this previously, earlier in this same video. So again, do go back and watch it. Dogma is awesome. Yeah, Dogma's good. I forgot about that. That's another Kevin Smith movie. That's really good. What do you think of the? Oh, actually, I'm gonna do this one actually. Frantic Eddie asks, do you think there's an oversaturation of dark, gritty reboots? Yeah, completely. It worked on Batman because it's Batman. Stop it with every other thing. I'm getting so fed up of it. Yeah, there's not too much to say about it. They're doing it with... I can't really tell if they're doing it with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but because I mean they're joking and that had dubstep, but in the trailer. But yeah, I heard like they're gonna do Sony are rebooting Zorro with a gritty, dark, moody tone. Give it up. Can you touch your Back to the Future poster? Thanks. Okay. Oh, that was from PK Movies 92. There you go, touching it. I hope you all enjoyed that. Do you think Mary Jane should have been in the Amazing Spider-Man 2? No. That movie was already packed with plot points that were randomly put together and they didn't quite gel to make a proper story. Putting Mary Jane in there would have just made it... I mean, that would be like... It wouldn't have made it... It wouldn't have turned a good movie to a bad movie, but it certainly wouldn't have helped. I want to give them credit for having the common sense to take her out, but to be honest, they should have rewritten the entire movie. This is a great question. Patrick Ward asks, what are the best scenes of your least favorite Spider-Man films? Spider-Man 3, The Sandman Awakening is just beautiful. The CGI looks fantastic. The camera work is nice. The whole 360 stuff. The score written for it, I forget who did the score for Spider-Man 3. It wasn't Danny Elfman, but that's really nice. That's a beautiful scene. Again, like I said, that movie is scattered with greatness, and that scene in itself is almost a fucking masterpiece. But that shows that Sandman had great potential. Had they not had to, completely mess him about for the sake of other characters getting screen time. But as I say time and again, Sam Raimi had a vision, and he wanted to do something, and he had something interesting, and he showed that he could do something really amazing with that character and material, and he did in that one scene. So, and then the Amazing Spider-Man 1, I really love the bit where he. I know people hate it, but I really like the crane scene. The music, the effects. I really root for Spider-Man to. I mean, he runs on that roof like he crapped his pants, but I really love the music. I love the score for that, for the Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, I think that's a great scene. The Amazing Spider-Man 2. What scene did I like? I liked the Aunt May scene where she says, "I'm your mum," or "I raised you," or something like that. It was the first time the movie slowed down and they actually had like a genuine human emotion. But then she ruined it by coming out with some bullcrap about, "Oh, your dad went to the station a lot," or something. I did only see that movie once, so I do apologise if I got that wrong. Mazirim SO6 asks, spoilers on The Amazing Spider-Man 2, do you think they executed Gwen's death well? As that scene just on its own, I thought it was pretty well done. It does lose the immediate death that had in the comics, which had a really sort of uncomfortable but intentionally so effect that you had in the fact that he webbed onto her and she just died, and he was still talking to himself and talking himself up like, yeah, I got her and everything's great, and then it realized he just killed her. But yeah, so I think it loses some of that because it's looking into their eyes, it's slow motion, but I know people thought it was stupid. I did like that little web stretching out like a hand. It's the one time the movie actually tried to be a movie and actually do something creative there. But there's her head would be bleeding. That's the problem with trying to. That film was so totally inconsistent that it was a movie for 5-year-olds, and then they killed off his girlfriend, and it was through her hitting her head on the ground after a huge fall. That's really dark. But because it's for little kids, they can't show any blood, and that kind of takes you out of it. And yeah, settle on a fucking tone. Daydream Girl 28 asks, are you subscribed to Screen Junkies? Yes, I am. They are really funny. I'd love to guest star on their channel, but that probably won't ever happen. Bow Ties Are Cool 62 asks, plus if you've seen the Harry Potter films, do you think you would ever review them? Probably not. But thanks for asking. Will I see, Aiden Cross asks, will I see The Incredibles 2? Yes. I hoped they wouldn't do an Incredibles 2, but whatever. That's another movie I was just like, don't make a sequel. The first one's a great superhero movie. That might even make it into my top 5 superhero movies. That's really good. Oh, and Chronicle as well. There you go. Those are the 2 superhero movies I put in there as well. Chronicle's terrific. Shouldn't have been found footage though. Aquenito says, Sammy boy, please answer me. I want to catch some sleep, but your awesomeness is keeping me awake. Where's I'm trying to find. Okay, in which case, so I take it from that you've asked a question. Do I like football? I mean, I'm getting into it at the moment because it's the World Cup, but not really. I do get very angry watching the match because England sucks. But yeah, I'm not really into football. I could never play it as a kid. And that was like for sport, you had to be able to play to be considered. not a weakling or cool, and I could never play it, and I kind of grew a resentment to the sport overall. Um, but yeah, so uh, football can be good. It's when I watch it, I like it. But I don't go. I never go out of my way to watch it. Only when the World Cup's going on. Do I like AVGN, as in Angry Video Game Nerd, and Nostalgia Critic? I love the both of them. What's his name? James Rolfe is he's inspirational. Um, Doug Walker, I also like. Sometimes his Nostalgia Critic. I don't know. I like Nostalgia Critic. I find it very entertaining, but there's something that tells me I know um, that he's not as good as James Rolfe, as either the Angry Video Game Nerd or just doing his straight up movie reviews. Coolio Vids 101, hey buddy, asks, not sure if you saw it, so I'll post it again. What is your favorite Sam? What? Wow, I can't say that. What is your favorite Sam? I'm terrible with my R's and W's. Rockwell movie. Mine is Moon. Um, I still haven't seen Moon. We've got it, and I really want to watch it. Everyone says it's like the best sci-fi movie ever. I don't know why I haven't watched it yet. I just haven't got around to it. Maybe I'll watch that tonight. Um, what's he? He's in a bunch of stuff. He does like a dance. I'm not sure what my favorite movie is, but he does like a signature dance move where he tries to put in dancing in all of his movies, which is quite interesting. He dances in. He was in Charlie's Angels, wasn't he? Sorry, excuse me. I'm gonna have to end this at some point. Um, Joseph Garvey asks, would you want a Lego Movie sequel, or would you rather that just be a good standalone movie? The latter, yeah, good standalone movie. First movie was great. There's no reason for a sequel. The story ended. It was funny. Leave it be. uh, uh, Chaos Incarnate. Well, I'm embarrassing myself here. Asks, do you think DC's recent TV efforts, such as Arrow and Flash, should tie into the DC cinematic universe or remain its own separate continuity? Remain its own separate continuity. They're doing well on TV. Um, they're clearly one is a TV universe, the other is a movie universe. I just don't see them making that work. I'm also okay with it being two different universes. Um, King Brick asks, what would the original trilogy of Star Wars be like if it was directed by Michael Bay? Basically, just take the Death Star exploding and put that single shot on a loop for 2 hours. Uh, Thoughts on Hunger Games franchise? Again, bleak. I don't like the camera work. The first one was mediocre at best. I didn't see the second one, but apparently it was good. I'm getting sick of Jennifer Lawrence. She's fucking everywhere at the moment. Um, Danny B Reviews asks, Sam, what's your favourite childhood TV show? Also, you're one of my favourite YouTube critics. Thank you very much. Favourite childhood TV show. I mean, I still love it, and I do still watch it. It's Tom and Jerry. So funny. It's when he goes, ah, it just gets me. Yeah, I love those. I also used to be really into Ben 10 when I was just coming off of the age, just when I was sort of going into teenage years, and I should not have been watching Cartoon Network at that age, but I still wasn't just there yet. I still wasn't ready to let that kind of stuff go, so I was watching Ben 10, and I remember getting really excited about Ben 10 Alien Force or Alien Ultimate Alien. There's like 10 series now. There's like 10 spin-off shows now. But it was the one of him as a teenager, and I got really excited for that. But yeah, my favorite TV show by far is Tom and Jerry. Any other shows that I would have watched as a kid would be the cartoon comedies that I still watch today. Futurama is my favorite thing ever. So funny. I may have mentioned it before. I think I did in a previous live stream. But yeah, so Tom and Jerry. Crichton says, hehe, they announced a second Divergent film franchise. Get ready. Yep, I know. That's all these films exist to do now. Let's take a book that has a loyal fan base but is truthfully not that fucking amazing, and let's drag it out and make it into this big franchise. Go away. Not you, Crichton. The guys that are putting this stuff together. And you know, we're going to split the last one up into 2 movies. That's been done. Go away. Ugh. Can you tell that I don't like the business end of movie politics? If given the opportunity, would you like to direct a movie? Yeah. I mean, I'd be nervous, but that'd be cool. Obviously, I'd work with the people that are helping me make the movie. I wouldn't have complete creative control, but that'd be fun. I know I would also have to answer to the studio executives, which I wouldn't look forward to. And I don't want to be selfish, and I think in terms of directing a movie, if you've written it also, then you have a more license to basically openly say, this is my movie. If it's a movie that you've been assigned to, you can still make that movie your own, but if someone else has written it, it's more of a, you execute it as well as you can execute it. It's not so much you have a vision. But yeah, so in terms of sort of creative control, filmmaking is a collaborative effort. I keep taking these questions and changing the answers to match a completely different question that was never asked. So I do apologize, but that's what a live stream is about. You make me talk. Will you review Rise of the Planet of the Apes? Probably. Running Z Guy says, oh fuck, I'm late. It's okay, mate. You can still ask questions now. We're still here. PK Movies 92 says, lol, you did it. This being the same guy that made me touch the poster. Thanks, I love your reviews. Thank you very much. Looking forward to that Divergent review now. I won't ever make the review in total because I don't want to talk about it for very long, but at the moment it's my #1 least favourite movie of the year, which will make the end of that video, which will be like top 10/top 5 worst movies of the year in December. So that I will be making a video on that. Dylan Runia says, dang it, you were halfway through my question and then you skipped it. Oh, did I? What are your thoughts on the depressing Amazing Spider-Man 2 ending? I've kind of already answered this on the... I don't know if you were the same guy that asked about the Gwen's death bit. It's pretty much the same thing, totally inconsistent, but the Amazing Spider-Man 2 ending, the actual ending, wasn't depressing. It was annoyingly upbeat, and everything's back to the way it was, and, you know, it just took all that interesting character development that Peter Parker, you know, it took all that potential to make a movie, as in character development, a story, an arc, for Peter to go through. First of all, they didn't do it right, because it wasn't his fault that she died. She made the choice to go and endanger herself. Second of all, The movie, like, they just did it over a montage, and then he sees a speech, and he's gonna be Spider-Man again, and yay, Spider-Man's back, and in the space of 5 fucking minutes, just so we can end the movie on happy, yay, he's back, and I wanted to punch the screen. Can you tell I don't like that movie? Um, yeah, I've already answered that question. Um, oh, I was about to answer one, and then the whole page moved. Running Z Guy asks, "Are you reviewing the other Star Wars films?" I'm gonna finish reviewing the prequels. I probably won't review the original trilogy individually. I might do one video, which is just the whole original trilogy, which might be easier. I'm not sure if I've got enough to say about all three movies, because I mean I've got plenty to say, but I'm not sure if I can articulate it all well, because I'm just so close to Star Wars as a whole. But yeah, I'll be doing a Revenge of the Sith review, and I may do a review of the whole original trilogy, but I won't be doing a review of The Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi, because I know I once upon a time did a review of A New Hope. You know, I went back and watched that, and that's really a retrospective. It's not really a review. I do talk about why I like it, but it's a lot similar. It's very similar to I don't know if you guys have ever watched Oliver Harper. He does terrific retrospective reviews, which sort of goes in depth as to how the movie was made and the financial success and the impact, cultural impact it had, and also his personal opinions on the film. That's more what my review of Star Wars was, so I actually changed it to a retrospective. And as of that, I realized I didn't want to review Empire Strikes Back, and I didn't want to review Return of the Jedi individually. But like I said, you may get lucky. You may be lucky. I may one day put out a review of the original trilogy. Um, it's very difficult writing my reviews. Um, you know, you have all this stuff stored up in your head that you want to say, and then you start writing it and you realize I don't have a lot to say, and it doesn't ever become anything, and that's very frustrating. That happens a lot. That's usually what kicks off the funk of just not being able to put anything out there. Um, it's weird. I don't know why it happens, but that's usually why I'm never sure if I'll make a particular kind of video, because I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it. I've always got to be in the zone, and it's always just got to. I've always got to be. It's got to come naturally. If I try and force it, nothing happens. I've always got to feel creative and articulative or articulate with it. Um, Fans going off again. But thank you for the question. That was kind of, I answered two questions at the same time because I realised one was over the other. So that was from Running Z Guy and Tollyman15. Gabe Calderon asks, "Have you seen the film The Room? If so, what are your thoughts?" Oh, hi, Mark. That's just a quote. Very funny. Very funny movie. Oh, I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. Oh. Aiden Cross asks, "Have you seen the Star Wars Holiday Special? I couldn't even sit through it." Yeah, it's crap. Um, oh, stop moving. The page is constantly moving. Is there an actress slash actor you wish you could punch in the face? At this point, Jennifer Lawrence. Her desperate attempt to show us that she's a human being really pisses me off. We get it. You like to eat food. Well, I like to eat food too. That's amazing. Oh my god, you're so down to earth. Fuck off. It just comes off like it comes off like she's intentionally trying to be that, and like her agent, her she and her agent had a conversation, and her agent was like, "Okay, you're gonna be the people's people. You're gonna be the person that everyone's like, oh my god, she's just such a human being," and it all just comes off as an act to me. Um, uh, would I rather see Cool Guy 700 Abel asks, um, would you rather see Superman Lives or James Cameron's Spider-Man? Um, Probably Superman Lives. I'd also be really interested in seeing James Cameron's Spider-Man, but Superman Lives just looked like the weirdest project. Yeah, I saw at one point they were gonna try and trying to get the money to make a documentary about that. I don't know what happened to that, but I'd be really interested in seeing that movie. Uh, Joe Tofano asks, aside from the original Spider-Man movies, what is your favorite Tobey Maguire performance besides Peter Parker, Spidey? Mine are Cider House Rules, Seabiscuit, Great Gatsby, and Brothers. I think he's tremendous in Brothers. I think the reason a lot of people don't like Tobey Maguire is actually a silly, superficial one. It's the fact that he doesn't have a Hollywood face. It's He has a normal face like the rest of us. You know, if he's trying to stop a train on the tracks with a web, you know, in real life, people would be going "Urgh," and not looking the prettiest. If Andrew Garfield was doing it, he'd be like, "Doo-doo-doo. Oh yeah." And yeah, I think that's why a lot of people just don't, for some silly reason, aren't attracted to Tobey Maguire. Not just biologically, just in terms of his performances. But I think he's tremendous in Brothers. If you ever get the chance, go watch that. It's not the best movie. Um, it's a very dark movie, but Maguire is Oscar worthy in that, I think. Um, Adorable Dictator says, "Do more of these. They're really entertaining." I shall. What time are we at? When did I start? Um, God, you can't see anything on this. Uh, when did I start? Hang on. Uh, just checking stuff. I don't want to go on for too long, because if I go on for too long, no one's going to want. If this is a 4-hour video, no one's going to want to watch it later on. Tells me about an hour ago. I remember starting at about 10 o'clock. So we're nearly coming up to 2 hours. So I'll go for another 5 minutes, and then I'll wrap it up. But I will do another one of these. So if I haven't answered your question yet, you will have a chance for it to be. There will be a chance that I answer it later on. Running Z Guy asks, "Have you done a podcast with Oliver Harper? If not, you really should." Oliver and I have actually talked, and he's a great guy, and we often share the same opinions on movies. So we've talked about it. I said I'd love to have him on the podcast. We just haven't actually proper set it in stone yet, but we have said openly that we'd love to work together. So I'll definitely have him on the podcast for something. I don't know what, but I can't wait, because he's both a really funny guy, but he knows what he's talking about, and he's a fellow Brit. Orange Dots asks, "What do you think of fan-made films?" I haven't seen a lot of fan-made films, but what I did see recently, which I just loved, was our RoboCop remake, which is like a compilation of different of all the scenes that make up the RoboCop film, done in different ways or in different interpretations. So through animation or through, you know, there's the scene with Ed 209 shooting that guy in the conference room is done with Muppets. Um, it's great. I love it. It's really creative. It's just a bunch of fun. I actually want to watch it now, just talking about it. And I'm a huge RoboCop is one of my favorite films of all time. Ah, I didn't mention that. Total Recall and RoboCop are two of my favorite films of all time. You always forget what your favorite stuff is whenever someone asks you to list it. It's like when someone says, "What's your favorite?" What's your favorite? I can't see. I can't even think now. That's a sign that I need to wrap this up soon. Will I review Indiana Jones 4? Probably not. That was asked by Patrick Bateman. Thanks for the question. Uh, this is an interesting question. Hub Hikari asks, in this current state of superhero movies, do you think it's possible that we might see a superhero movie crash, if you will? I think it's possible. I think there's certainly too many, and there's certainly I think we're spoiled right now. The reason we're getting so many is because there's a massive audience for it. And if anyone hasn't watched my video with Bandit Incorporated, where he had me on his channel, do so because I go into this quite a bit. But movie executives figured out about nearly 10 years ago that the biggest success is from us, the movie geeks. It's all down to the problem with fandom is we only care about branding, you know. Um, Star Wars, Spider-Man, Terminator, those kind of things, they go ding in our heads and we go watch it. Rich Evans from Red Letter Media has famously said, "It says Spider-Man, here's my money. It says Star Wars, here's my money." And it's exactly right. That's how it works. And so that's why we get so many, and I think sooner or later we're going to get so many that it's all going to crash down. It's like when we had so many movies crash down in Hollywood and they had to build it back up again. And they took more risks, and in doing so we got movies like all those classic Spielberg films, Jaws, what's it called? Oh crap! I can't believe I've forgotten the title of this movie. It's such a good movie, and people are going to kill me once they realise I actually forgot the name of this movie. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, a terrific film. Star Wars, stuff like that. You know, Hollywood eventually just saying, okay, look, we'll give you all this money, just give us movies, and bring back Hollywood, basically. And it's all down to letting creative filmmakers do their thing. That's the secret, Hollywood, if you're watching this. It's all about creativity. Just let them do it. Sean Hotpool says, "Damn, I just got on now. Hope I'm not late." Yeah, sorry about that. Alex asks, have you seen Nostalgia Critic's Old versus New Spider-Man? If so, what do you think of it? A lot of people have asked me this. I purposely have not watched it. I think I'd get too pissed off with it. I'm very connected to Spider-Man and the movies, and I feel really strongly that the Raimi films are so much better than anyone gives them credit for. And I'm so goddamn sick of hearing people complain about them. And I think if you even have to compare the original trilogy to the new Spider-Man movies, I think that kind of tells you that he's gonna. See, I realized recently that I kind of like The Amazing Spider-Man, the first one. I'm on a middle ground. There are a lot of things I find wrong with it, but you know what? It's a decent flick. There is a lot of business stuff and the villain's shit, but you can see the creative stuff trying to slip into that movie, and things like the crane scene, which I mentioned earlier. That's interesting because it's the filmmakers trying to get an actual emotion out of you, honestly, with honest filmmaking. It's not just manipulation by, doing faithfulness to the comics by putting web shooters in there or killing Gwen Stacy because the comics did it, and you love those, right? So yeah, there was a lot of that in the new movie. But I saw a video which was like these guys that always do movie comparisons. It was Spider-Man 2 versus The Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's not even a competition. It's like stuff like that just pisses me off. It's like, why do you even have to ask that? Who is better at ripping apart movies, Cinema Sins or Screen Junkies? Screen Junkies. It really pissed me off that they're on the Watch Mojo Top 10 YouTube critics. I couldn't give a crap less about whether I'm in the top 10 or not. That's never going to happen. But they're on there, and they're not movie critics. They're movie-themed channels. They don't review movies. But yeah, Screen Junkies just has made me piss my pants. Cinema Sins is also good. I still get a kick out of watching his stuff, but I just think Screen Junkies is funnier and more entertaining. Oh, blimey. Apparently a bunch of questions were, for some silly reason, automatically put down as spam, and I couldn't read them, so I do apologize if I've skipped a bunch. So, Mark Sander Schmidt asks, thoughts on Transcendence? Fucking stupid movie. Again, another one that I was going to review, and it just came out like everyone else's. It was lazily written. It came off like a movie that was trying to be pretentious and like it knew what it was doing, and it just knew nothing. The characters were boring. It was a dumb movie. It was lazy. It was dull and blah 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 blah. Yeah, not very good. I am gonna wrap it up. Um, if there are any questions I've missed, I do apologise, people. But thank you so much for. I'm gonna sneeze again. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, if there's any questions that I've missed, don't worry. I'll be doing another one of these soon. It's really obvious that you guys love them. That's why I do. I do it to interact with you guys. Thanks for asking so many questions. Thanks for sticking around. You're all tremendous. You're the reason I'm doing this. And yeah, I like just being me in front of you guys. I mean, all the videos are scripted. That's the way I like it, and that's the way that I do it. But it's also nice just to get my honest personality out there, just for you guys. I also don't have a video camera. That's why I don't normally do this. This is just off the camera of on my laptop, and as you can see, it's not HD or anything particularly amazing. But yeah, I'm going off topic now. Thank you very much for joining me. This has been a lot of fun. I will be doing another one of these soon. Do follow the Facebook page. I'm always posting on there if there are any updates, or if I haven't put out a video in a while and you're just wondering if I even exist anymore, I'm always continuously posting on that. I'm pointing up because the tab's right above it where I am, from what I can see. But yeah, I'm always on there. I'm also on Twitter. I'm very active. I'm not just on YouTube, so do follow me on either one of those. All that information is at the end of all my videos, where it has stuff. A bit. But yeah, thanks to everyone for watching, and see you later.